Maryland sports fans, there's only one sports book in the great state of Maryland with over 50 years experience booking bets and supporting customers. Betfred Sportsbook at Longshots is now open and is the only sportsbook in Frederick offering cash betting on football, basketball, world soccer, and more. Visit the Betfred Sportsbook at I-270 and MD-85 in Frederick, right next to Longshots off-track betting. Go to betfredsports.com for more information and your chance to win exclusive merchandise. Must be 21 or older. Play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Joe from Roland, RLND, and you're listening to The Loud Spot with Sebastian.
The motherfucking Loud Spot. That's right, you're listening to the almighty Hot Zone, doing the intro to the Loud Spot podcast. You're goddamn right, we're doing intros for podcasts now. And if you don't like it, you can suck the entire circumference of one. Wayne Tretzky with the squeals and the drops. P1E goes on till it pops. Cannonball, don't trust a cop. Johnny Spotswood just don't know when to stop. And if you don't like it, you better take your ass up to the snooty box, because this is the Loud Spot. Okay, see you later.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian Cosby, right out of Oklahoma City. Today, I have Mr. Joe Mcclune, who's in a band called Roland, right? But it's spelled RLND.
That's right.
What is going on, man? You live in, the Bay Area?
Yeah, the band's in the Bay Area. It's basically Vallejo, Oakland, San Francisco, but I'm up in Portland right now. So now we're a long distance, but it doesn't really matter at all because can't play shows anyhow.
Right. So you're from the Bay Area though, originally, right?
Yeah, I'm from the Bay Area since I was a kid. I lived down in San Diego for a little while and then in New York, but I've been in the Bay, 25, 30 years of my life. So
yeah, I'm actually from San Francisco. I was born in San Francisco, but I was raised in Vacaville.
Oh, word.
And then I actually moved to Oregon for a little bit, to Portland.
Yeah.
And then from Portland I went to Washington. From Washington I was like 24 and I ended up in Oklahoma. Oklahoma City somehow. Long story.
Yeah, I mean, you just end up where you end up. We've been through Oklahoma a fair amount and also Texas. My wife's from Texas, so we spent some time down there.
Oh, cool, man. Okay, so your band, Roland, you guys are signed to Sell the Heart Records?
That's right.
And and that is Andy Poles from Tsunami Bomb's record label, right?
That's right, yeah. Okay,
so how did he find you guys? Because you're from the Bay Area, did you guys just the local music scene?
Actually, no. I was previously in another band down in San Diego, just a small band called Burn Report. And so I met, he's got a couple bands on his label. One's called Kata and one's called Topoluna. And one of the guys in that band was previously in another band. His name's Demetrius Antunia, and they're a killer band. We've done, not tours, but we played a bunch of shows with them. And so I was actually just talking to him about trying to find a place to put out this new record. And he said, I know this guy, Andy. He's put out a couple of our releases, and I ended up, he hooked us up, and Andy's a really great guy to work with. And it just ended up working out. The timing was right. We talked to a couple other labels, but it wasn't really floating our boat, I guess, is the best way to put it.
So when you're signed to a record label, because I have a podcast, so I don't do the whole record label thing. Yeah. What does the record label do for you guys as musicians?
Okay, so do you mean just in total or specifically as musicians?
Like, does he get you guys concerts? I went to YouTube, saw you guys had some videos on YouTube. Yeah. Does he help with the production of that album art, like T-shirts, things like that?
So what Andy does specifically is as a band, normally you end up having to do a lot of legwork with things that are hard to know as a band. And of course, the first thing that most record labels provide is some financial backing. And so he provided us some financial backing for printing the record and doing some PR for us.
Awesome.
And so, especially me, I'm what's known as the band dad. So I'm taking care of, a lot of the, the financials and like I make all the merch. I did all the artwork for the record.
Are you considered the band dad because you have gray hair?
Yeah. No, I am the oldest in the band, but the main thing is that there's a lot of things that even though I do a lot of things for the band, there's things I'm not good at. One of those is, for instance, just distribution. Like I'm really bad at getting all the shit together and sending it out. I mean,
and Andy's the one that got us in touch. He messaged you and me on the same Facebook kind of messaging feed and was like, hey, check out this podcast. And so I guess he does stuff like that as well. He
does stuff like that. He hooked us up with the PR guy. If we were doing shows, he'd probably set us up. I mean, we've already talked about once the pandemic's over, he's going to set us up some shows with other bands on the label. Just kind of awesome. a lot of that kind of support. That's hard to know if you're a lot. He gets a lot of exposure to a lot of different bands, and so he goes through this a lot. So that kind of expertise is really helpful.
Absolutely, man.
And he just gives us coverage, or not coverage, but he gives us exposure just by having us on the label. So he's been incredibly valuable as a resource for those sorts of things.
Well, I do want to say congratulations for being the first band to just be a musical band with no vocalist on my podcast. Dude, let me tell you, I'm so against that. Like, I'm so against it. I was, though, but you know what? There's a lot of great musicians out there that are just music, that just have the music with no vocalist. And it's like you kind of tell your story through music. Have you thought about getting a vocalist, or you guys just know we don't need one, we're just doing it our way, and or you just haven't found one yet?
Here's a true story. When we were recording this, I talked to the guys in the band, and I said, no joke. We had a previous album that was also instrumental. We've been instrumental the whole time, and on this record, I heard vocals on it. And I talked to the guys, and I was like, "Yo, let's put on some vocals." Like, kind of like, have you heard the band Elder, or High on Fire, where they have some vocals, but it's not a ton.
No.
And it's very well. You can check out those bands.
I'll check them out. Yeah.
But in any case, just like kind of sparse vocals, but I actually do feel like I feel like this record could have used vocals, and two of the guys, me and one other guy were super into it, and then the other two guys were kind of iffy. And in this band, we have a very specific rule that if one person doesn't like it, we don't do it.
Right. A lot of bands are like that. That's awesome.
Well, it's kind of the only way to do it so that everyone's satisfied and everyone feels like their voice is being heard. And so I get it. The guys were actually kind of enthusiastic at first, and then it just kind of fell off the radar, and we didn't end up doing it.
So how do you come up with how do you come up with the song names?
Actually, that's funny. Our drummer, he has a notes file on his phone, and he's just constantly thinking of like puns and shit.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so like we'll have a song, and he'll just kind of go down the list and be like, "How about this one?" And we're like, "No, it doesn't fit." But actually, it's funny that you mentioned the vocalist. Are we looking for one? Because on the next record it'll have vocals.
Awesome. Well, let's play one of your songs right now. Then I want to get into like your music videos that I found on YouTube. This song is called Keith Sells, but Who's Buying?
Right on.
Who's Buying? All right, here we go right now with Keith Sells, but Who's Buying by the band Roland, RLND. All right, so that was Keith Sells, but who's buying? That's a super funny name, too, because it's almost like you can relate it to anything. Me, I relate it to drugs. For some reason, I'm like,
it's from Megadeth.
Oh!
Who's Flying?
I don't know, man. I'm an idiot. So when I hear you guys' songs, right, I assumed it was going to be punk rock, okay? I assumed it was going to be punk rock, but it's not really punk rock. I mean, it's more kind of hard rock, right? What would you say it is?
It's like heavy progressive metal, probably.
I think if you had a singer, depending on the singer style, your music can almost go any way.
Yeah, I mean, there's parts in there. There's a couple songs. This next song that you're gonna listen to, Public Chefs, that song's pretty, like, it's kind of like metalcore a little bit, like, a little Dillinger spots in there, and like some weird angular like Melvins and Neurosis parts in there.
That's awesome. So I gotta admit, I got a little bit intimidated because I said, "Hey, how's the podcast?" You're like, "It's like every other podcast." I was on the radio. And I was like, "Fuck, man, you're on the radio."
No.
I was like, I'm just gonna let you talk. I'm not gonna say anything from now on.
No, I was on the radio for like 4 years in college, and then I had a radio show. Like, I traveled with my wife for, like, we're both designers, so we can work remotely, and so we traveled for like 2 years, and I had a radio show while I was doing that. So
So how did you, like, was it on like an FM channel?
My college radio show was, but the other one was a streaming show.
How was that? I've never been to like a radio station. I guess I don't know if you've ever done a podcast, like actually hosted one, but I would assume there's a little bit of similarities.
It's pretty similar. I mean, I didn't do it live. Like, doing it live was more of a pain than just editing afterward. Like, it's I'd end up doing fades and like doing the talk back after between the songs. It was probably closer to a podcast than an actual live show. Before, when I was on the radio, you have like a board with sliders and a mixer and everything, and it's all live, and there's no delay.
I don't like live because
it's stressful.
Because you don't want to say something that you regret later. Like, if I went live, there's all kinds of things I say. I'm like, dude, thank God I could edit this shit because I do not want this to air.
Oh no, you're fine, man.
And I don't do the fader thing either. I don't fade things in and out.
It's dope. It's dope to have a little control. You can get these little podcast control pads now, and they're pretty dope. But it's definitely like it's a learned thing. Like, also, I mean, it helps. My dad was on the radio for like 15 years, like major market FM. So I used to, like, when I was a kid, like sometimes I'd go in with him because he was like, my parents were divorced, so sometimes he'd just bring us into the radio station.
That's
he'd
cool.
Like he'd let me push the button and all that shit.
So you're kind of training to push the button and do the fading as a kid.
Kinda, yeah. Actually, like I've been in radio stations. I mean, my parents met at college radio when they had me.
Did you? So you're going to college doing the radio thing. How come you didn't pursue like a whole radio career, like radio personality?
It's hard. It's like, honestly, that's the truth. It's a hard game to get into, and if you're gonna get into it, like, especially, back in the day, everything was on the radio.
Right.
There was no Sirius, there was no XM, because it was Sirius and XM before it was Sirius XM.
Right. Right.
And like, there was no podcast. Everyone listened to the radio. There was no even MP3 players. So you basically listened to a cassette in your car or the radio. And so it was like, back when my dad was going on the radio, and even I have a cousin who was on the radio for, until like 2005. But, now all radio shows are, for the most part, syndicated.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's like auto. Like, they have robots that play the CDs, or it's MP3s now, and they just record all the, like, in between bits, all the talkback. They record that all in advance, like in 1 hour instead of being on stick. Yeah, dude.
I didn't know that.
It's not live. A lot of it's not live, so it's all like automated and shit.
Huh.
Yeah. So like now, it's really hard to do that. And even when I was coming up, like when I graduated college, like everyone had MP3 players by then, so it's like like the writing was kind of on the wall. Now it's very difficult to get a job in radio, and what people end up doing, a lot of my friends who have done it, they end up moving places for the radio station,
right?
Because not that many,
right?
So they end up having, like, I have a friend who moved up. She moved up here, this is my cousin. She moved up to Bandon, Oregon, up on the coast, for a radio station, and it's now she lives in Oregon.
Do they even get paid a whole lot?
Depends. It depends on the market. Like if you move to the Juneau, Alaska radio station, you're probably not making you're probably making I want to say probably like 30-40 grand. It's not a lot, but you live in Juneau.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there goes my dreams of being on the radio. Thanks, man.
Honestly, this is more lucrative.
Yeah, no. So doing a podcast for me, and there's like millions of podcasts. There's like a whole shit ton of them out there. And so when I first found out, there's I forgot how many, like a million or I don't know. I don't know the number actually. I was kind of a little bit disappointed, but then I listened to some, and I don't really listen to podcasts that much. I don't like to take other people's ideas and put them into my own, because I like just my own thing, And I was like, you know what? I think my show was kind of cool. I think it's better. I think I could go places, maybe. So yeah, I'm hoping.
If you get that, also hella podcasts suck, dude.
Yeah, I know.
So if your podcast, if you have people who are actually talking and having a coherent conversation, you already got a leg up.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a ton of podcasts that are just not very good.
Yeah, well, don't start a podcast if you don't know how to talk to people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're not trying to be on the mic, then probably don't have a podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, no dead air. Okay, so the song Public Chefs. You guys do have a music video for this song that people can go to YouTube and check out.
Yeah, this song is pretty wild. This is the odd one out. This one isn't on the vinyl. This one's on just on the digital album, and it's kind of the one that doesn't sound quite as much like the rest of them. This one's a little more frenetic and dissonant. It's kind of spiky, but the video is wild. A friend of ours who's we've played shows with his band. This guy's name is Tsunami, and he was like, "Yo, I like this song. I'm thinking about doing a video for it." And I was like, "Sure, just let us know what you need." He comes back 6 weeks later, and he's got most of this video done.
Wow!
And you're just like, "What?" And so he kind of just ran with it, and it's got all the Illuminati stuff and all the whole weird multimedia stuff, and it's kind of a commentary a little bit on capitalism. So
did you give him an idea to go with, or did he just kind of get his own idea and just went with it?
He started out with we told him the name of the song. We're it's called Public Chefs. He said, "Oh," and he's telling me this afterward. He's like, "Oh, Martha Stewart? That's a public chef." He's thinking about Martha Stewart, and then he started thinking about the media and how the media kind of is a smokescreen for the fact that there's 10 rich people who could pay the rest of us, in the world, and we, it's just wild.
Yeah, that's neat.
So then he kind of, and I kind of steered him a little bit. He came with the whole, financial pyramids stuff that's at the start of the video, and I gave him a few more pointers about just other stock related stuff. So it kind of just happened very organically, which was nice, because it's nice to have someone just pumped about what they're doing and make you something awesome.
Awesome, man. We're going to play the song at Public Chefs. Then when we get back, I do want to ask you, don't now answer it right now. I don't think I asked you how long you guys have been a band for, so we're going to go over that. And then we're going to go over the name change recently for this album. So here we go right now with Public Chefs. There we go with Publix, Chess. I was just talking to Joe like during the music break there. He's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I enjoyed our conversations during that little musical session. Okay, I don't think I asked you before. I may have, but I don't think I asked how long you guys have been a band.
7 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. The first record came out 4 or 5 years ago. So it took like 2 years to write that one. And then just like crazy shit happened. Basically, like one of us got a new job. One of us was going to college. And then I was traveling. So like I came back in mid-travel to do like a 2-week tour up the coast and back down. And then we just kind of were stagnant for a little while. And then we wrote this record, I think all together in like 8 months. But then we recorded it last October. So it's over a year old.
I think it's so cool that you guys have a vinyl also, and you could buy the vinyl on Bandcamp, right? So yeah, I think every band should have a vinyl. Maybe it's me because I'm a record collector. I collect records.
Yeah, same here.
So that's why for me I think it's neat. But I guess most people probably aren't. If you made an 8-track, I'd probably buy an 8-track, and then I go buy an 8-track player, and I start collecting that too. Because who does that? I would do that for sure.
Hey, tons of bands are still putting out cassettes, man. It's
they're not. Are they really?
Yes, a bunch of like the more indie bands, the smaller bands are putting out cassettes now because it's cheap.
Let's start a new band, and just put out 8-tracks. I'm a drummer.
Oh well, shit. Yeah, I'll send you some riffs. We'll make a cassette. We'll make a 8-tracks.
8-track, and it'll be exclusive. We'll only make 8-tracks. So if you want to listen to our music.
You gotta buy an 8-track player.
Gotta buy an 8-track player, and we're gonna be so good that we're gonna blow up the 8-tracks.
Yo, that's a great idea. We should do that. We have to think of a name at some point, but it has to be punny.
Yeah, so I'm like not that creative. I'll
think about it. I'll just think about it.
You think about it. Once you get something, let me know, and we'll dream, and we'll see if something ever happens. But it'd be cool. Okay, now, and you guys changed the name from Roland to RLND, which is still Roland. And why did you guys do that?
Well, so we wanted to be cool, and it seems like all, MGMT, etc. There's all those hipster bands.
All the cool kids are doing it.
No, really the reason is that if you search right now Roland on... even Roland Band on Google or Roland on Spotify, there's like fucking 80, 90 artists. And we were like, we're a small band, so there's even like 3 or 4 of them are in Latin speaking countries, in Spanish speaking countries. So like all of South America and Central America and Spain, basically those a couple of them are there's one dude who's a DJ, there's one dude from Mexico who's an R&B guy, and then there's like a guy from Colombia or something. Like there's so many Rolands.
That's so weird. Is that someone in your band's name?
No, it's actually the guy who originally quit the band.
Oh, really?
We changed our name to his name.
And then you guys just kept it?
Yeah, we meant it as a joke, and then we just decided to keep it because we liked it. But
if you guys get like super big, he's gonna be like, that was my band, it's named after me, and then just don't give him any credit ever.
Or I'll just be like, that we were fucking with you, right?
It just worked out.
Yeah, but so then we just decided, we Googled RLND, and it's the only thing there is some like regional landscaping of North Dakota or something. So it ends up being pretty searchable, and especially if you look for a band. I think
it works great. RLND, it's easy to search for, you're right. And it's kind of a thing right now. It's kind of a hip thing to do. And so that's honestly, that way you're doing it like that is, I would say, a better way to market the brand of the band than spelling out Roland.
As much as it sucks to have to feel like you're making it easier for people, it's really important. I mean, it feels the same to me. Honestly, part of the reason why I want to have vocals is because people get a better connection with music when it has vocals. Like I'm the first one to admit that, but we were just an instrumental band for so long that it's kind of like,
Maybe
who am
one.
I to say that we have to change it?
And you know what? Maybe one day soon, maybe someone will come into the band's lives. You're like, dude, we got to have this. We got to have this vocalist.
Well, actually, all four of us can sing pretty well.
Oh,
so
good.
I think we're gonna spread around singing duties around the dudes who were already in the band.
Awesome, man. Okay, last song we're gonna play is Terry Gross, Grosse, Grosse. Terry Grosse.
Yeah, it's this is a good heavy one. We actually have it's named after our friend's band who named themselves after the NPR commentary lady.
Awesome.
So it's kind of double meta, you know.
I like it. We're going to play this song right now. We're going to wrap up the podcast after this. It's been super fun having you on the show. Thank you for being on here. Let's go right now with Terry Gross before we wrap it up. There you go with Terry Gross. So your songs. So how many albums do you guys have? You guys have 2 albums?
We have two. Yeah, we have two LPs.
And the first LPs, is it completely different than this one, or is there a lot? I mean, same band members, right?
Yeah, same band members, and it's like on the first one, we kind of just were like, we're gonna shred for 40 minutes, and we did that, and it was fun. Didn't really step on any pedals, and then for the second record, we were basically like, let's slow it down, let's make it heavier, and let's step on some pedals, make it kind of psychedelic in spots. So that's kind of how it changed up.
Does the rest of your band know you're doing a podcast tonight?
I told them on text. Yeah,
Okay.
it was all like last minute, but I was trying to get Alex, the other guitarist, on, but then he couldn't make it because he had to go back to work.
He's like, yeah, podcasts are boring. I don't want to do it. They are kind of boring though, man. They really are.
Yeah, they're fun.
Are they? You like doing them? I think I enjoy being on other people's podcasts. It is kind of fun. It's kind of fun to hear what people are going to ask you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's no reason. The thing is, a lot of people get really self-conscious talking about themselves, and it's not like I'm a narcissist or anything, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, sure, let's talk about some shit.
Yeah, and you know what? I never come I barely. Sometimes I come prepared, but usually I don't. I just kind of say whatever. Like I'm always thinking about something, anyways. So I just kind of say whatever comes to my mind.
You might as well just have a conversation,
Yeah. We really didn't talk a whole bunch about your band. We just kind of talked. We did a little bit. But we talked about other things.
Well, yeah. You got any more band questions?
Do I have any more band questions? No, I don't think so. I mean, okay. Who's your influences? Just kidding. I don't care. I don't care who your influences are. I don't know. I think we covered all the bases, man. I do want to ask you though. If people want to buy some merch, if they want to find your music, what all platforms? I mean, I'm sure you got on Spotify and iTunes.
We're on Spotify, iTunes. I think we're on fucking Tidal. We're on YouTube. But honestly, Bandcamp is the best thing to get the vinyl or some merch. It's just rlnd.bandcamp.
I don't even know why I asked that question anymore. I have no idea why I ask bands. Where can you find your music?
A lot of bands have a weird Bandcamp name because they get taken up really quickly.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we were lucky enough to get just to get RLND. I was glad we had it.
Oh, I learned something new. But do you guys have merch for sale?
Yeah, we've got vinyl of both records, and I think we still have some t-shirts up.
And where are those on a website, or are they just on Bandcamp?
Everything's on Bandcamp.
Yeah, I did notice on Bandcamp you can actually even subscribe for like $40 a year. I think is that.
You can. There's a subscription of the Sell the Heart Records catalog that you can get every record out this year. It's awesome. That's on Limited Run, the Limited Run website. So, if you like some of the bands that you've been hearing on Sell the Heart, you should definitely subscribe to the annual model because you just get it's like 40% off the records or something. I do
have another question actually. When you guys play concerts, do you guys just play in California or do you guys multi-state? Like, do you guys tour?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've played 4 or 5 states, I think, so far.
Biggest concert you've ever played?
We played a show with High on Fire. That was probably like 500 people. That was cool.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I played.
We're a small band. We played.
Yeah. I played in front of I think 20 people once, and no one was. No, actually, it was probably like 100. It was probably like 100.
We played with High on Fire at the Uptown in Oakland, and we played at Bottom of the Hill with a band called Pinback.
That's cool, man. Dude, I love being on stage, man. I love being on stage.
Playing a live show is just so great, and I'm really fucking tired of not doing it.
You're gonna get back. You're gonna get back there. I know it's gonna happen. But when you get back there, are you gonna have to go back to California?
You know what we were doing. So what happened was we made the record, and the day it was done, 2 of the guys quit the band.
What?
So that's why. Yeah. So that's why it came out a year later. And then me and the drummer, we were like, "Fuck! I guess we don't have a band anymore." And then he played the record for a couple of his friends, and they were like, and they're total shredders. Like, he just knows a whole ton of musicians, and they were like, "Can we just be the band?" So I lived up in Portland by that time, and then Keith, the drummer, he's just like, "Yo, why don't you come down for band practice?" And I was like, "What?" So I came down, and these guys knew the whole record already.
Nice, man.
So he rebuilt the band, and it was really nice. And so we were super pumped. I was going down for a weekend once a month because my family's down there too.
Right.
And my job was down there. I work remotely. So like, I was going down for a weekend a month, which is not that big of a deal. You know, it's not that much of a lift for my wife and, you know, the kid and the dogs and stuff. If it's just like a couple days, and we would go have band practice, and then we were ready to tour like this spring, but fucking COVID.
Dude, that's like every band was ready. You know what I hear though? I hear a lot like every band, we were gonna make it big, but then COVID. But a lot of bands that I talk to like were really on the verge of like getting ready to tour or getting ready to do like some super great concerts, and then COVID just like ruined all that, and that's just really it's like horrible, man. It's like horrible.
Dude,
it's horrible.
It's lame, and there were so many fucking shows I had tickets to. I had tickets to Run the Jewels and Rage Against the Machine. I had tickets to Depeche Mode. I had tickets to what else? Run the Jewel. Oh no, I already said that one. Nine Inch Nails.
Oh,
Nine Inch
really?
Nails. Yeah, like cool. I had tickets to everything, and I was so pumped. And then we can't go.
No, you can't go. Real quick, if you were to give a shout out to any bands that you've played with, or bands that people that listen to the podcast might want to check out, who would those bands be?
You should have prepped me for this. Okay.
Normally I do prep. I don't know why I didn't prep this time.
System Restore is dope. There's a great band that I love called Cinder Cone. One of my buddies, Jordan, is in a thing called Reptoid, which is a one-man insane metal band. Check them out. It's reptoidx.bandcamp.com. My buddy John and Scott and Ian, those guys are in a band called Kowloon Walled City. There's some great bands in the Bay still, but you know.
And if I would have prepped you would have came up with a few more, and then like you're gonna be like, oh crap, I forgot. Don't get mad at me. You know, I didn't say it, man. No, that is the question.
I got a few more. I got a few more. There's my buddy Ben's in a band called Burials. It's just insane metal.
Awesome.
Anyway, I've just been listening to all those guys during the quarantine.
Awesome, man. And shout out to Sell the Heart Records and Andy Pohl for hooking up this podcast and getting you on and being able to share some of your music. I really appreciate it, man. You've been a great guest on the podcast. Yeah, I've really enjoyed our conversations during the podcast and off of the podcast while we're playing the music. So you've been fantastic.
Right on, Sebastian. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Don't go anywhere. I do want to thank all of our fans like I do every show, all of our listeners. We got some great things coming up. We just got an executive producer to help me out. Sam McIntosh, he's going to help us out, get some awesome bands on the podcast. Looking forward to that. So that should be coming early spring, sometime springish time. Make sure to check out Roland, RLND. Check out their Bandcamp. Subscribe to Sell the Heart Records. Download their album. It's only $7. You got a bunch of great songs on there. We look forward to doing this again. I hope everybody had a happy holiday, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
This is the Loud Spot outro by Nothing Short of Tragic. Is this all talk with no action? No. Is this my thoughts with distraction? No. Is this what I bought that's in fashion? Or is this the Loud Spot with Sebastian? Yes. Does Nothing Short of Tragic have us back again? Yes. Does everything that's good really have to end? Yes. Our pin post has the pin show, so to get more episodes, make an order, this is over.